And welcome to this 24 by 48 carriage shed machinery building that we're putting up. We're doing just the framing, and we'll finish the exterior so it's ready for stain or paint or whatever might want to be used later. This was a kit that came from a company called Jamaica Cottage. So everything was pre-cut, and they hit everything perfectly as far as cuts. It was pretty much just bring it in and nail it together. You can see all the notches on those 6x6s as we put them up. The 6x6 on the concrete was pressure treated. Everything else, framework, was hemlock. I might add heavy hemlock. Dan makes it look pretty light. You can see all those notches. They're fitted for all of the beams, the 2x12 beams that head in there, plates. It was different, this style, because typically, oh, look at me dance. Typically, we just cut everything and we put it together, conventional framing. But everything was pre-cut on those stacks that you saw. And so it came with a manual, like a 50 or 60 page manual, where we had to stop and read everything, make sure we were in agreement with what they had done, which we always, it seems like we were. These 2x12s, they go all the way around the outside, and then as well they'll go on the inside, and everything was well planned out for that. Nice tight joints. We didn't have to notch, cut anything to make it fit. It was all perfect. For me, at the end of the day, these hemlock boards and posts were very tiring to lug just because they were so heavy for me. Dan and Chad, they both just kind of, whatever, lugged them around. I don't know if you saw it, but where Dan just nailed that, there was a nailer put in between the two to make up that spacing, so that it was the same all the way around the edge. And the corner posts were all double 6x6s, and at each beam, each pier in between. That gives you a little better view of what's going on. There'll be a top plate that goes on all of that. All the concrete work and earthwork was done probably two months, maybe 3 months before we got here. So everything, the concrete had cured well. Everything was good to go. The homeowners were great. They fed us break and lunch every day that we were here. I think we were here 6 working days. I believe this is actually day 2. You can see in the corner there that the top plates are mitered at a 45-degree angle. They had already done all of that, so we just had to put it together and nail it. It looks cold. You can see I just threw my glove off. But when you're working, you're plenty warm. You've got some breaks of sun. Chad and Dan putting on the 45s there. see Dan just put a square up there so that he can match both sides. I'm over in the back there putting bracing on to get that shored up. Chad's got his nice Milwaukee framer. That gun's a little heavier than the DeWalt, but it never misfires, unlike the DeWalt. They even sent extra pieces for the bracing. There was some material left over at the end of the job that could be used for shelving or whatever the homeowner might want. There you see cross tie to receive the siding whenever, as soon as we get to that. Had to rent a lift. That wasn't planned on because they didn't mention that in the directions, but there was just no way we were going to get up probably 20, 22 feet, something like that, to the peak. You can see we have the rough framework. That's how they suggested to do it. One 2x12 ridge pole, and then the 2x10 rafters with the bird's mouth all cut out on every one. And we left a space, about a 1-inch space on each one of those rafters to slide the sheathing boards up under it. .48-foot ridge pole. There were 4 12-footers that we used, so that the framing actually came out flush all the way down to the concrete on the outside. When we built the rakes, that created that extra foot of overhang. Once we got a system worked out, it went really well. Few obstacles in the way with the cross bracing there from front to back. Had to maneuver a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. Collar ties, 2x8 collar ties. Now we're putting on the I believe those are 1x12 pine boards. Shiplap. Where do you go, Dan? Last collar tie. Pretty good system they had as far as doing the wall sheathing. See that lumber pile getting smaller? We moved a lot of it inside in case it snowed. All the pallets over there are empty now. We've moved everything that's left inside, except for the metal roofing. A really solid structure. This is where it starts to look really pretty, getting the door openings framed in, sheathed in. Here I'm putting on the trim work. Everything was pre-cut. I think we had to trim maybe one or two that were off an eighth of an inch or something, not much. Putting strapping on. Their suggestion was to start at the top and strap it on the way down, but it was just awkward to try to get up there, so we just started at the bottom like we usually do and ran it upwards. See that angle brace on under the rafters? Once everything was on, we took those off. Snow scraper. We did have some beautiful sunny days. So there's one fly rafter, creating that overhang. That was 1x10 fascia, pretty substantial. We would typically go 1x6. All the roofing came pre-cut. You can see that ridge vent material on there that we put on. And we rolled that out as we went. Chad's down below doing all the legwork. We just stay up there and screw it on. Apparently snowed overnight. We're getting right at the end. One of my favorite builds probably in 35 years. This was really enjoyable. For one reason, it was just something different than the standard stick-built garage. A little tour around the inside with a drone. They were so excited to get some of their equipment inside out of the weather. I was very impressed with the kit. They nailed it right on. You could tell they've done a lot of these. The Jamaica Cottage company, I'm not being paid by them for anything, is in Vermont. You could probably find them online if you wanted to research it. That's me droning. Still have a few things to pick up, and then we're out of there. All right, thank you. See you later.